Okay, so in this video, I'll be factoring this polynomial. Now, we have to use something called the factor theorem for this. Now, normally when you're first learning the lesson, your leading coefficient is going to have a value of 1, but in this situation, it's not, and we can't factor anything else. So the process is a little bit different when your leading coefficient is not 1. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to figure out all the factors of your constant, which is the b term. And in that case, it's 4. So factors of b are going to be 1 or -1 and this. So these are your factors of your constant term. This is a minus sign. So maybe I'll rewrite that, make it neater. Sorry about that. So these are the factors of the constant term. And now you have to write out the factors of the leading coefficient, or the a value. So this is the a value, so that's a 5, so we have to write out the factors of 5. So 1 and plus or minus 5. These are the factors of 5. Now, if b is a factor of the constant term, and if a is a factor of the leading coefficients, we have to use trial and error. So basically, if the value of b over a equals 0, we know that whatever that value is, that's a factor of the polynomial. So you have to do trial and error basically. So you have to write out all the possibilities and see what works. So all the possibilities are going to be plus or minus 1, because 1 over 1 is 1, but you can also do 1 over -1, which is equal to -1. So that's a possibility, and you're going to do that for all of these. So it's going to be 2, and it's going to be 4 over 1, plus or minus 4. And now you have to do the same thing for the 5. So it's going to be plus or minus 1 over 5, plus or minus 2 over 5, or plus or minus 4 over 5. So these are the possible factors of what can make this polynomial equal to 0. So you would plug, like for example, you plug in 1 into this polynomial, and if that equals 0, you would know that at 1 would be a factor of the polynomial. So you have to do trial and error. Now, for the sake of this video, I'm going to do that on my own, and I'll show you, or I'll tell you after I figure out which of these factors equals 0. Okay, so I just figured out which one of these is a factor. And lucky for me, 1 is a factor, so I didn't have to try all of them. I just tried out 1 and it worked. Because if you plug in 1 for x, if you do all the calculations, that is equal to 0. Now you can go through this yourself if you want, but I'm not going to show you how I did it. It just, the work's here. So since 1 is equal to 0, we can say, therefore, x minus 1 is a factor. So that's great. We found a factor of the polynomial, but we have to factor the whole thing. So to find out the other factors, you can either use long division or synthetic division. Now I'm going to use synthetic division because this is in x minus b form. It's quicker, but both ways should work. So I'm not going to explain it because I explained that in a different video, but I'm just going to do it quickly here. Okay, so now I finished performing the synthetic division. So once we did that, we got 5x squared plus 8x minus 4. Now I do want to point out something. Our remainder here is 0, and it should be, because we divided this by x minus 1. And we proved that x minus 1 was a factor using the remainder theorem. But if this is not equal to 0, you know you did something wrong, because this is a factor. And since this is a factor of the polynomial, this should be equal to 0, the remainder. But anyways, now that we have finished that, this is our answer, but this can still be factored. So for neatness, I'm going to erase some things here, but know that our factors so far, or what we've got so far, are x minus 1 and this expression here. So Just gonna erase this for some room here. We don't need this anymore. So this is what we have so far. We have x minus 1, and we have this. Sorry, it's going to be a little tight. Okay, so this whole thing, we've simplified that, or we factored it to this. So this is already factored, but this term here, this polynomial, this is a polynomial technically, this can still be factored. So we're gonna say, I'm just gonna actually treat this as, I'm gonna treat this as if this wasn't here. So we're gonna say 5x squared plus 8x minus 4. So we're going to use decomposition. So 5 times 4, negative 20, and the b value is 8. So what two numbers add up to 8 and multiply to negative 20? 10 and negative 2. 10 times negative 2 is negative 20. 10 plus negative 2 is 8. So we're going to use decomposition here. So 5x plus 10x minus 2x minus 4. We're going to factor by grouping now. So the factor of this, it's 5x, x plus 2, and here we can factor to negative 2. Okay, perfect, and now we can factor out the x plus 2, and then we have 5x minus 2 remaining. So now we figured out all the factors. These two cannot be factored any further. So now, I know it's a lot, but we have to bring everything together now. So we factored this whole thing. So we know that x minus 1 is a factor, and now we finish factoring the entire thing. So this is equal to, so our answer, we're gonna bring the x minus 1 down, because this is a factor of the polynomial, and then we're gonna write out these factors here. 5x minus 2. So this is the answer. So after we factor this entire polynomial, these are the factors.